Okay, welcome to your third lesson. We always start the lessons the same. We start with the theory. If you were here, I do the flashcards, and then we go to the piano. Okay? The theory book is very self-explanatory, but I'll review it with you. This is called the grand staff. The treble and bass clefs joined together by a brace and bar line form the grand staff. The short line added between the treble staff and the bass staff is the middle C line. So here you have the brace, you have the bar line, your treble clef, your bass clef, and your middle C. A double bar comes at the end of the piece. There's your double bar. It comes at the end of every song. Then you're going to trace the braces and bar lines to make grand staffs. Draw a treble and bass clef sign on each grand staff. Trace the middle Cs. Draw a double bar at the end of each grand staff. Basically, you are copying this picture. Again, this is so that if you want to write music, you know how to do it. Stems go up on the right side and down on the left side. Notes below the middle line have stems that go up. Here's your middle line. Notes on or above the middle line go down on the left side. Draw up or down stems on these notes, changing them to half notes. As you can see, you can check your answers on the top. Okay, now we're going to play it. The book is further away because I want you to see the book and the piano at the same time. But you've got your book, so you can follow along. Okay? So here we go. We're going to start with the right hand thumb on middle C because there's nothing on the bottom, and we're going to count. We're going to go over it slow first, and then I'm going to play it for you the way that it should be done eventually. So as you can see, here's my thumb, which is on the middle C. My second finger is on the D, which is the new note. Okay? So we're going to start 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. That's your middle C. Here's your second finger. 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. This is the D. You see the little guy. He says D right there. Now we're going on to our half notes. Middle C. 1N, 2N, the next note is D, 3N, 4N, that's your second finger. It's C again, 1N, 2N, D again, 3N, 4N. Then you have 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N, 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. These are all quarter notes. They're a little bit faster than the whole notes and half notes. And now we're on to all C's. Be careful. This is where people get screwed up. 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N, 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. Now I'm going to play it for you the way that eventually you would like to get it. From the beginning. 1N, 2N, 3N, 4N. 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 So it's cute. It sounds a little bit like a train. It starts slow and then it gets a little bit faster. Okay, this is all you're going to practice for your third lesson. This page, and you're going to do the theory, and that's it. We're going to go on to the next page on the next lesson.